part of what you'll find if you tune into this channel enough is that I am an inveterate cinephile, and I know this isn't totally healthy, but on the other hand, I do think that the cinematic format or form is worthwhile, and it's as capable of greatness as any other artistic form. So that's my brief sort of semi-defense of myself. All this is just intro to say I rewatched the movie 500 Days of Summer recently. This was a movie I saw several years ago when it came out. It had a lot more poignancy for me now, for personal reasons. When I saw it before, I was still semi-happily married. No, I'm not. So, even though it was about younger people, it still touched on a lot of things that I found was, sort of, what should I say? How should I put it? Well, it touches you where you're vulnerable in certain ways. That makes it sound perverse, and it is perverse. Art can be that way. So I had no idea until after I saw the movie for the second time that this movie is apparently a cauldron of debate. That there is a cauldron of debate surrounding this movie regarding its sexual politics and so forth. I just sort of thought that it was a bittersweet, love story, a story about a relationship that didn't work out. It didn't really seem like that spicy or that controversial or like something that was apt to stir up emotions and get people yelling at each other, but apparently it is. I'll just briefly describe the premise. The story concerns a guy who is fairly successful, but unhappy in his professional life, and youngish guy, good-looking, charming, but also somebody who has a really bad case of what they call one-nightus, just an inveterate romantic, in all the good ways and all of the bad ways. He meets and falls in love with this new girl at his job. Her name is Summer. She works as a secretary there. She's very charming and quirky and pretty, and they get together. They start to have a sort of fling, but it also becomes clear that she's not really into him for anything serious, or she doesn't really want a serious relationship. She just wants a fling. And he, being an inveterate romantic, thinks that he can make her care about him more, or maybe maybe she actually wants something more than what she says she wants, and he can bring that out in her, or hopes that he can. And it's a on again, off again sort of relationship. When it's on, they're both very happy, and they have a good time together, and there are lots of very exquisite moments of tenderness, and it's definitely not just a let's meet and fuck kind of thing. put it crudely. Even though she doesn't want anything serious, they're together as if it were a relationship, but she doesn't want to see it that way. She doesn't want to be tied down in that way to a relationship. So in a way, it's an inversion of what you would think of as the typical or stereotypical male-female relationship, where typically it would be the guy who would just want the sex, and the girl who'd want to, get him to commit. Here it's the other way around. In the end, it looks like maybe she's going to give him another chance. They're going to get back together again, possibly, or his hopes are up, even after they've basically broken up. But it turns out that he misunderstood the circumstances. She invites him to this party, and at this party he finds out, just kind of by observation through the grapevine, not because anyone tells him directly, he finds out that she's engaged to this other guy, obviously not to him. So it turns out she did want the real thing. She did want commitment, just not with him. And that's the harshest thing to realize, that she was never into him that way, even though it seemed like she was. There were times when they were together and she would share things with him that she wouldn't just share with anybody. He was obviously, again, he was not just a fuck buddy to her. So the debate surrounding the movie seems to be, well, she was always clear about what she, when they were together, she wasn't unfaithful. She was always clear about what she wanted. She was never deceptive. So what's he got to complain about? What's he got to bitch about? He's just an incel. That's what they call everybody now. If you're a guy, in a romantic relationship or in a movie about a romantic relationship, and you get jilted and you're not happy about it, or you have complaints about how it happened or how you were treated, then you just get called an incel. It's just an automatic kind of insult generator right now. It's very, very tiresome. But I think it's interesting that if the relationships had been reversed, and if Summer had been the guy, and Joshua Gordon-Levitt had been the girl, that the guy was always up front that he just wanted to fling, nothing serious, and she wanted something deeper. And I do think that people would be saying, oh, he was such a cad for he just used her, and so forth. There's an obvious double standard here, regardless of what you think, regardless of whether you think Summer treated him well, or whether you think that it was legitimate for her to carry on this relationship with him, knowing all the while that he was really into her, and that his emotions were, that she ended up breaking his heart essentially through her insensitivity by letting him think that there was a chance they were getting back together and not telling him that she was engaged. I think people would automatically think, what a cad, what a terrible guy. He just used her and messed with her mind. And but if a girl's doing it to the guy, then it's not the same thing. I mean, I don't really need to go on about too much about the fact of the double standard. We all know about it. You either admit to it or you don't. But even if you don't admit to it, you're aware of it. You just don't want to admit to it. So that I just thought that was kind of interesting. I think also just, more on a personal level, it brings up the whole question of whether when love is really authentic. I mean, that I know that gets into territory that might be kind of tiresome, because people have flip reactions to that. Even some people have flip and immediate reactions one way or the other, and I'm aware of I think I'm aware of the dangers of one-nightitis, and I am as anti-simp as they come. But I think I would challenge anyone who has ever been with someone and had that someone pledge their troth to you, to put it in the old-fashioned way, and then find out, pledge their troth in a sincere and emotional manner to you, that they would stay by your side, that they would be, through thick and thin, for better or for worse, till death do you part. And then you find out later that's not the case, even though they really thought it was the case at the time. I mean, the question that it raises is, was it ever real? Was it ever real? If it doesn't stand the test of time, then was it ever real in the first place? Was it just fool's gold, so to speak? Where it has all the attributes of the real thing, but turns out, it can't withstand the fire and the flame, and the wear and the tear. It reveals that it's brittle, more brittle than it had appeared to be. This movie makes you realize those things, or ask those kinds of questions. And the way that it ends also, it's an amusing ending, it's a clever ending, but it also that makes you wonder, okay, is this the real thing now that he's moved on, and he's got some new prospects with this new girl, who's very cleverly named? I won't say any more than that. Is this the real thing now, or is this just another ride on the same roller coaster of shit? That's not a very good metaphor, but you know what I'm saying. So that's 500 Days of Summer. Let me know what you think if you've seen it. My name's Andy Nowicki, altrightnovelist.com.